today, right now, we are live on all our channels like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And today, I'm going to talk about a brand which is very unique, and the concept is very unique, I'll say. And in India, this is the first company, I'll say, they have introduced the concept. We'll understand more about the concept, about their franchisee opportunity. We have our guest, and as you can see, say the idea behind starting the brand is very noble, and we have the guest, and the name of the brand is Chop Shop. So we have our guest, Mr. Kenneth D'Souza, Mr. Partner of Chop Shop. So hi Kenneth, and thank you for joining this webinar. I'm sure all our business seekers are interested, and they are eagerly they want to know about the opportunity, and let's help them in
Absolutely.
understanding about the Chop Shop opportunity.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm very happy
Thank
to be here, Bandana, and thank you for the opportunity as well. And yeah, let's dive in. I'll talk a little bit about my background and where I'm from and what led me to being in India and opening a business like the Chop Shop. So I primarily was brought up in Saudi Arabia. I studied for most of my schooling years in Saudi Arabia. My father used to be there, worked there for airlines, and I was lucky enough to spend a lot of my time. Uh, so I had that liberty, and for that reason, I drew a lot of influences from different cultures, different societies, different neighboring countries, and I started to realize that there was a very primary focus on vanity and how people look and the way they appear and the way they carry themselves, especially in Middle Eastern culture. So I was brought up in a country like Saudi Arabia where we didn't have a lot of activities to do. So a lot of our time was spent in barbershops. Um,
Yeah. Kenneth, your voice is a
and
little low. Sorry to interrupt. You have to be a
yeah,
bit
sure,
louder.
no worries. Yeah, sure, no
Yes.
problem. Yeah, is this better? I can increase it a little bit more. Is that better?
You have to speak little louder. It's better. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Yeah. So I spent most of my years over there, and a lot of my time was spent in barbershops because uh, we friends from school didn't really have a lot of activities to do in Saudi Arabia. It wasn't like that there were pubs or bars or grills. All of that was illegal over there. So we really spent most of our time going out, driving the car, or spending time in barbershops. And as I grew up, I moved to Canada. I was there for about 6 years. I did my BBM and my major in finance and marketing. And while I was there, I started to realize that the barbershop culture in North America was also thriving. And there was a lot of respect in that field. And barbers were glorified, they were looked upon as celebrities. And there was a lot of importance that was put onto barbers over there. Um, and then I used to come to India on vacation a lot more. So every year, twice a year, I'd come to India on vacations, and I would love going to barbershops here in India, even though they were a lot smaller back then. I loved going to them because there was more of a unique touch of Indian barbers, the way they gave you a head massage, the way they cut your hair, the way
Yeah.
they even gave you a shave with a single razor blade, which was never done in North America or even in Saudi Arabia. So the straight razor shave is very, very unique to India and to certain parts of Asia. So I said, there is an opportunity over here. And that's when my business partner, Martin, who primarily started this business, he came
Okay.
from Canada as well 10 years ago, and he's Canadian. Him and his family and children have been here in India for over 10 years. And him and I, we both sat down one day, and he had a love for barbershops as well because he's a photographer by profession and a
Okay.
celebrity photographer.
Okay.
So he basically takes photos for GQ, Forbes magazine, Filmfare, name it. His clients range from all of the biggest celebrities nationwide in India, all the way to international celebrities. So he takes photos for them.
Okay.
Um, Even his first campaign that he ever took photos of was with Priyanka Chopra 10 years ago when she was a stranger in India, really. So
Okay.
he's been there for a very long time. And him and I, we sat and we sat together and we said there's an opportunity over here. But it took us a couple of years of research in India, a lot of traveling to
Hmm.
see, do we want to start this business and when is the right time? Um, and yeah, few years passed by, and then next thing you know, in 2018, we finally took the courage to start what we now call the Chop Shop. And
Okay.
the Chop Shop is now about 3.5 years old. Um, it was the first location that we opened was in Goa because Martin moved to Goa. He was in Bombay first. That was
Hmm.
where majority of his shoots were going on.
Hmm.
And he moved to Goa about 5 years ago and just fell in love with Goa because Goa is very unique in India in that sense. It's very touristy.
Hmm.
People are always changing. The kind of people that come here are from all over the world, not just India. So it was a very international market in a way.
Yeah.
And that's why we said, you know what, maybe it makes sense to try the Chop Shop, the first one, the concept store in Goa. And in 2018, we started the first store. And the inspiration was East meets the West. We bring together Western culture, Western design, Western aesthetic. So we took inspiration from Brooklyn, which is a city in the United States, in
Hmm.
New York, and we took the vibrancy and the culture of the barbershop design and story in those places, and we met it with the Indian hospitality and the Indian skill set of our barbers, because we have some of the best barbers in India. And the
Okay.
reason why is because there is a very big barbering culture in India, but
Hmm.
nobody really glorifies it. No one ever stresses on the importance of barbering. Everyone thinks stylist, salonist, but when you think of your barber, you don't think of someone who's big or someone who needs to be put on a pedestal. But for us, it was the opposite. We said we should be celebrating Indian barbers. So we brought the cultures together and we took some of the best barbers in India and we put them in a very Western themed, Brooklyn inspired barbershop that we have currently in Goa. And we started it with full faith that it would do well. We started it with about 15 services at that point in time,
Okay.
and all our services are named after a couple of different celebrities, but international celebrities. So we have like the DiCaprio, we have the De Niro, we have the Morrison, we have the Pacino, the Clooney. So these are all like reiterations of celebrities that are popular across the world for their look and for their
Huh.
appearance. So we named the services after those people. Um, and when we opened up with having to call because so Martin had a very big affinity and love for bikes and for
Okay.
Jeeps and cars and all of that stuff. So when we did bring the East and West together, what we did is that we themed it with this whole bike theme of like live free, ride free, groom and feel empowered and feel liberated and feel free to roam wherever you want in India. And we'll empower you as a barbershop. We'll make sure that
Hmm.
you look good when you do all of this. So when we started to do that, we said, you know what would be interesting is when we launch, let's invite the whole Harley Davidson crew and let's see the Harley Davidson riders, which is a very big community in India. We invited them. We said, why don't you come to the chop shop? It looks like a
Okay.
garage, but it's a barber
Hmm.
shop. And when we launched 3.5 years ago, we had 56 Harley Davidsons parked outside our shop in Goa. These were all just people who loved to ride bikes, loved the motorbike culture, and loved barbershops. They came, they parked their bikes outside, and they all came in for services. And we did their services for free, and they had a fabulous time. And we had so much of PR, positive PR from local media, Going Deccan Chronicle, India Today, this, that, all of that. And they
Hmm.
covered us. And from then on, we became so popular in Goa as a barbershop that in the last 3.5 years, we have not really had to market ourselves
Okay.
anymore. The business has just been running on its own steam, and people have come then realized the quality of the services we provide and the culture in the
Hmm.
chop shop. They feel like they're teleported to another time. They don't feel like they're going to a regular barbershop across the street
Hmm.
that doesn't have an experience. They feel like they're being transported or teleported to being in New York City, getting a haircut in 1950. So
Uh-huh.
that's just a little bit about the chop shop and how it came to be. Yeah,
Glad to know, that you have recognized the talent of all the barbers, and you have given
of
the different
course.
shape, and that is ultimately it's benefiting all the clients, and as you said, all the customers are coming to your shop, and now you don't need to market it much because word of mouth is working for you.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely. And I think, one of the most important factors about our business, which is what we're very grateful for, is that unlike a restaurant or a supermarket or a store, a regular, retail store with clothes and stuff like that, you have to, in those lines of businesses, you got to keep convincing the customer to come
hmm,
back with
hmm,
offers or discounts or new collections. We are a necessity. People
yeah,
need a shave. People need a haircut. People
yes,
need a massage. People need to feel cared for and to feel wanted and to feel important. So when they come for our services, we don't need to keep convincing them to come back. They come back on their own every week because they're emotionally attached to the brand. They like how they feel in there, and because of that, we see such a high retention rate and a high repetitiveness of clients that keep coming back to a store, that we have a loyal base.
yeah.
And I think that's the biggest celebration of the brand for us.
Because they're better experience that they are coming back to your shop.
Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to know about, the services that you are providing. As you said, the 15 services are there. Can you
Mhm.
just name few of them which are, most of the clients are taking from Chop Shop?
Yeah, for sure. So usually we have what we call the classic services, which are singular services. So you have your beard trim, you have your beard wash, you have your hair, your regular haircut, a kid's cut, a mini facial, a mini
Okay.
face massage. So these are smaller services, but our services start from 30 minutes and go upwards. We have no services below 30 minutes in time in terms of SOPs because we
Okay.
are a luxury barbershop at the end of the day. So our services take a lot of time to really perfect, and we want our customers to not feel like they're in a hurry or
Mm-hmm.
we are in a hurry to get done with them. So our haircuts really are minimum 45 minutes and go upwards. We take the time to do that. So we have our classic services and then we have our enhanced services. Our enhanced services are usually combos. So a haircut plus a shave, a haircut plus a beard trim, a haircut plus a head massage. And then we
Okay.
have some of the more elaborate packages like the haircut plus a shave plus a head massage plus a facial, stuff like that. One of our longest services is called the dinero. You basically are in our chair for 2.5 hours and we
Acha.
cover all the services that we can. And when you stand up, you feel like a new man. You feel like you're reborn. When you
Oh,
come out and you feel like you're ready to go out, get married, or go for a party, or do something or the other. So that entire service is very different because you get to really enjoy and revel in everything that we're known for.
hmm.
Um, And then we do the hair colors, but we don't really experiment with too many hair colors. We like to keep it limited to what we've perfected and what we're good at. So we do hair colors, we do elaborate facials, head massages, shoulder massages, and we are expanding on our services. So one of our locations, which is our first franchise in Kochi, over there we do manicures and pedicures as well.
Okay.
So
So
that's
these
yeah.
products, okay. So can I the
Yeah.
products which you are using, how
Mhm.
you're, you are exporting or importing from other countries, or how you are using this?
Okay, so that's a great question, Bandana. So we're running our services, and the products that we use in our services is a hybrid of international and domestic products. So
Achha.
we do so a lot of the products that we do use in our services used to be international based. But when COVID hit, it became very difficult to get those international products to be flown in or to be imported into India. So we started to really do a lot of research and development in making our own line of products.
Okay.
And during that time, because it's a long process and a tedious process, we have been spending a lot of our time developing those products, but simultaneously using domestic products like the Man Company
Achha.
and Bombay Shaving Company and Ustra and some of these nicer Indian male group brands to use in our services. Um, and currently, those work for us. Customers like those. But
Okay.
we are well on our way to launching our own line of products by the end of this year, and then eliminating, slowly phasing out all the third party company products and sticking to our own. So that's what we're currently doing and what we're in the process.
From the product front, okay.
Yeah,
uh, so I think I got the concept and why you have started it. Now if I talk about started giving the franchisee, and now we're expanding the brand, okay. So there are already established brands are there in your category, if
right.
I talk about the salon. So why any business seeker should go for a chop shop? Why not the other players who are already there in the market? So I want
Yeah.
to hear from you.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. So I enjoy answering this question because I think Martin and I take the biggest pride in what is our differentiator as a brand. And the biggest differentiator I can tell you is that because we're in the upper premium segment of the vanity and the whole appeal of grooming, our biggest difference is that we're a barbershop. We're not a salon, and we have a continuous stream of women who come into the chop shop wanting to get a blow dry or a haircut or a hair color from the chop shop, and we with full pride say, no thank you, this is only for men. And the reason why we do that is because that's what the premise and the foundation of this business was built on. It was built on building a business that is catered and dedicated only to celebrating men. Because women, just like everyone else in India, have a massive amount of choices and options of salons to go to look pretty and to get dolled up and to have and enjoy the services similar to the ones that you have in this presentation. Tony and Guy, Vikas, Be Blunt, Hakeem, Louis Unisex Salon, Lakme, and Rich. They're all meant primarily for women because none of these places do shaves. You can't go into Be Blunt and ask for a clean shave or for a beard trim. They'll cut your hair for men, but that's it. So our biggest differentiators is that, and the only one on this list is Truefit and Hill that is a barber shop and not a salon. But here's the difference. Not only are they more expensive than us, they are a British based and born brand, the oldest barber brand in the world. But when you go inside, what you're looking at when you're getting a haircut is Elizabeth, Prince Philip, Queen Victoria. You're looking at the British monarchy. And I think we have, as a country, been liberated and been independent from the British rule for long enough to not go and celebrate them still. as a brand. So if I were going into a barbershop, I rather see my brethren, like proper Indian barbers and an Indian aesthetic, than go and see the British royal family who I do not want to be associated with. I'm proud to be Indian, and I do not need to remind myself of when they had control over our country. So the Chop Shop was built on the premise of we're not going political. We as a brand are meant for everybody. Come inside and enjoy what the Chop Shop represents, which is freedom, which is a lifestyle that you can be a part of. And in this lifestyle, you can be free, you can be liberated, you can be adventurous, you can be aspirational. And that is the biggest difference for us. So when guys come in, they feel safe. Men
Okay.
feel safe at the chop shop. The reason why they feel safe is because they are not worried about women looking at them and their imperfections or what they feel nervous to talk about. Like, okay, I have a bald patch, or oh, my beard doesn't grow properly, or oh, I have nose hair that I need cut. In a salon, when you're talking, there are women all around you. So you're conscious of these things and you're aware. At the chop shop, man on man, it doesn't matter. Talk and ask for whatever services you'd like to ask for, and we'll do it for you. And you don't need to be conscious because it's a safe place. We've created that for you. So all our customers who come in never worry about women judging them. And that is our biggest differentiator. And that's why we have customers who keep coming back because they're like, okay, this is where I can escape from my wife, from my girlfriend, from this, that, whatever it is. This is my place. And I'm proud to call it my own. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay, so this is exclusively for men, and they feel freedom if they're going to chop shop. And I'll say, as you said, the Indian company. This is in truly sense. If you talk about, we are promoting entrepreneurship, we are promoting, employment. This is truly an Indian
of
brand.
course.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to add to that, Bandana, is that Martin has been here for so long that he identifies as much as he's a Canadian. He identifies because we're international in our look. He still identifies with the importance of being in India and making this brand the way it is in India, and that's why all our staff are Indian primarily because we want to make sure that we are offering jobs to barbers glorified. They were
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
in India, they were never celebrated. They were just treated as, okay, you're a local hometown barber. And for us, we wanted to bring them up and elevate their position in society and show the importance of what their skill set is and how good they are at it. And I think that's what makes them so proud to work there. And that's why our customers are happy
Yeah.
because they say we're so happy to work at the chop shop, you know, and
This is
we're
a
lucky
great
enough to, yeah,
initiative, I'll say.
yeah, and we're proud to say that all our barbers have stayed back. In the last 3.5 years, only one barber had to leave because of family circumstances, but all our barbers from day number one have been with us till today. Not one of them has, and attrition rate in India is very, very high. So it's hard to keep staff. We are being lucky enough to have our staff with us from the beginning.
Mm. So I'll say, Kenneth,
Yeah,
all the barbers, like they have the skill set. Chop Shop have identified their skills, and I think those who are not having, you have polished it and upgraded it.
of course, yes, absolutely. So what we've done is that we handpick the barbers that we believe are a very good fit for the chop shop. And then they go through a rigorous 2-month training, which is a chop shop training program. And that refines their services, refines the way they work, talk, use their hands, their movements, their gestures,
Hmm.
everything that is pertaining to the services that we provide. They go through a lot of that training. And what we, prior to the pandemic, what we were doing is that one of the best barbers in the world, Mike Taylor, is a good friend of ours. He lives in London. He has his own training school. He came down 2.5 years ago, and he
Okay.
trained our barbers in not just practical, but in theoretical as well. So
Oh,
our barbers are are actually the only barbers in India who are GBBA level 3 certified, which basically means they have a certification from the Greater Britain Barbering Association, which is a very, very big barbering program across the world that certifies them as class 3 barbers, which means they're the highest certified barbers in India. And they have paperwork to prove that because they had to pass an exam.
oh wow.
So yeah, so it's not only that their knowledge comes from their skill set, we train them to also know theoretically what it is to barber, what is the benefits of barbering, what is the benefits of cutting hair this way and cutting hair this way, shaving this way and shaving that way, and what are the negative implications and the positive implications. So they don't only just use their hands, they use their brains as well. And that's very important. That's why we have had a lot of people who have tried to replicate us and copy the chop shop,
Yeah,
but they cannot do it because they don't know how to go about training the way we train our barbers.
yeah,
So you can
absolutely.
copy maybe our ambience, you can try to copy our ambience, you can try to copy our style, but you will not be able to copy the major crux of our business, which is our SOPs, our
Yeah.
actual service operating procedures.
Yes,
So
Ken.
yeah,
So it is very important, to have the correct techniques. So as you said, the other competitors can copy the outlook, the infrastructure, but they can't copy the skill set that you have already provided to your,
correct.
sure, barbers. Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's talk about the franchisee model, and all the business seekers who are watching us, please understand the model completely. And if you have questions, please share with us. Me and Kenneth will try to, answer all your questions so that it will be easy for you to take, call for yourself. So yeah, please Kenneth, understand and let us know about the franchisee models which we have for Chop Shop.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. So just to take you through the presentation that you put up currently, just give me a second. I'll just
Yeah.
open that up over here for me. Yeah. So we used to in the past offer one of the models, which was a FOCO, franchise-owned company operated. However, because of our upward trajectory as a brand that we're growing, majority of our time is being invested into R&D, product development, merchandise development, and further expansion.
Yeah.
So we avoided having to indulge in the FOCO model because that requires a lot more of our time
Hmm.
invested into each store, because we would have to then operate it as our own company store even though it's owned by a franchise.
Hmm.
So what we chose to do is that we created the FOFO model,
Hmm.
which is franchise owned, franchise operated. And the way that works is that, as you can see in the presentation, it's broken down as a franchise fee, which is a one-time fee, and
Hmm.
then the turnkey fee. The franchise fee, which is 15 lakhs, essentially covers the brand licensing fee of taking
Okay.
the Chop Shop brand name. Number one. Number two, it also is to help the actual brand as a parent company expand and grow further,
Okay.
to help create new marketing collaterals, new videos, new ads. It's also to help further our expansion in terms of what are we looking at in those markets that those franchises want to open to, how else we can support them. And then it also covers admin expenses as a company, because we as a parent company require money to keep coming. So to expand the major, so the training team, the head team, and all of that. So that's the
Okay.
one-time franchise fee. And then within that one-time franchise fee, I'll explain the other half a little later. But
Yeah.
the turnkey fee is essentially the capex. So that goes towards the entire build of the store from head to toe. And it's so the build, the ambience, the design, the music that goes in, the barber chairs, the equipment, the products that are needed for the services for at least 2 months of operations. And it also includes 4 to 5 barbers who are fully trained. So the turnkey fee basically means that when you as a franchisee come in and say, we want a chop shop franchise in, for example, Pune, for 50 lakhs, we basically provide to you a fully operational, fully functional barbershop that can generate revenue from day number one. So
Oh,
you can
okay.
open the door, you open it up, and that's it. The barbers are trained. Every all the staff are trained. The manager is trained. The manager is the only employee in the franchise model that we ask the franchisor to find and to arrange and organize, because it's important for a franchisee to have someone that they trust to manage the store. So that is their point person, their point of contact. Could be a family member, a cousin, it doesn't matter, but someone they trust.
Okay.
But the barbers and even the helper for the barbers is completely our responsibility. We train them, we find them, we recruit them, and then we negotiate with them to go to a city to work at this barbershop. We do not involve the franchisee to deal with the stress associated with that. We give you a barbershop that's ready to operate from day number one and generate revenue. So that's what we take pride in. And the barbers are trained in Goa at our training academy over here. And they are completely trained. They are housed over here. We accommodate them. We take care of them. So all of the entire franchise fee that you're seeing goes towards doing that as well. 2 months of taking care of the barbers, housing them, feeding them, and training them, and then all the products that go in those services. So there's a lot of back end work that goes into actually getting this barbershop ready for a franchisee.
Yeah.
So that's basically the breakdown of those two. And then there's a lot of back and forth of Martin and myself going to and from the franchise city. So wherever the franchise store is being opened, we go back and forth, we travel. And then it also includes me or someone from the team training the manager on offline in store. So we train the manager and we make sure that they are ready, and then we stay there on our own expense as part of this fee, where we stay there and we're there during the opening of the store, the PR that revolves around the store, the marketing, all of that stuff. So we get you ready. So when you launch with a bang. So that also includes marketing expense for the first 2 months to really get, the PR done offline, online, all of that. So that's another aspect. And
So
then
how many staffs do you recruit for one store? Suppose I'm talking about the coaching or a new franchisee outlet you're going to open. So is there any minimum number of barbers that you're going to provide them?
yeah, it depends on the square footage of the store.
Huh.
So
Huh.
usually we usually like a franchisee to pick a location that is anywhere between 1,200 to 1,400 square feet, depending on the market that you're in.
Huh.
So if you're in a market that really wants services like manicures and pedicures as well, then we want a store that's slightly bigger so that we have the space, the provision to provide those.
Okay.
Um, and a 1,200 square foot store would ideally maybe not have any space for manicure, pedicure, but mainly just barber chairs and then a seating area and all of that stuff. So the chairs can range anywhere between 4 chairs all the way upwards to 5 or 6 chairs. So
Okay.
what we do is that we hire barbers based on the number of chairs that we have. So if there are 4 chairs, there are 4 barbers that we hire and send your way. And usually manicures and pedicure personnel are hired pertaining to the actual geolocation. So if it is in Pune, then hire a manicure, pedicure girl from Pune itself. But the barbers will come in from where we ask them to. So that's usually how that is based on the size of the store. And yeah.
If it I got it. Let's talk about the financials. We're talking about the franchisee fee, like 15 lakh, and why we are taking it, and why, because there are so many trainings that you have to provide to your barbers, products you're using. Let's talk about the 50 lakhs investment, as we can see on the screen. Please talk about the financials.
Yeah. So again, just to break down the 50 lakhs, right? Because the way we are operating is as a turnkey business, it usually takes from the time a franchisee signs on with us as a deal, it takes 2 months to get the store up and running. So we
Okay.
have our lead designer, our head designer, interior designer who flies down there and has to be there for about 2 months back and forth to get the store up and running, to get it designed, to find local contractors. With the help of the franchisee, of course, if they have friends, family who work in that department, fabulous. But all of that needs to be done. The chairs are custom made. The barber chairs are custom made, where each of them are made in Goa by one of the steelwork guys who's been in the business for about 100 years, his family. These chairs are custom made. No one in India has them. And then these chairs are literally driven down to those cities. So they're transported to each city, and then those customized chairs are then put into that barbershop. So we don't make it local to each city. We make it right here in Goa. And these chairs is very integral to our business because they're made only for us based on the services that we have created. So yeah, so for that reason, there are many parts of our interiors that is very very customized that has to be made outside of the city we're opening in and then transported. So there's a lot of back and forth. And then the other aspect is the marketing that goes into starting that store, the PR, why we're opening, and what's unique about us, and just building awareness around the brand in that city if they don't already know us. The good part about being in Goa is that a lot of people that come to Goa from all over India. So when we opened in Kochi, we had a lot of people who from Kerala used to travel for vacation in Goa, and when we opened in Kochi, they're like, "Oh, shops in Kochi! Wow!" They picked up on it immediately. They felt like a part of Goa came to Kerala, so
Oh,
they started coming
they
in
can
on their
relate
own.
it. Like they have experienced it
Yeah,
in Go, and now
ex-
even they see in coaching. Yeah.
correct, exactly.
Yeah.
So there's brand recall value, but we don't just assume that some cities might not have that brand recall value that we hope for. So we have to build awareness. So we do that. And then Martin obviously is a celebrated and highly awarded photographer. So he comes down with a team of two people, and we shoot the whole location. So we shoot a video, we do editorial photos, we do all of that, which are these are Martin. I wouldn't even want to jump into how much he charges on a daily basis to actually go about shooting people like John Abraham and Virat Kohli and all of these people that he does. Um, but because this is our brand and our baby and our business, uh, as a franchisee, when you believe in a brand that's built by us, then it comes naturally to us to want to support that franchisee. So Martin comes in with his team and he shoots that as well. Um, and sometimes depending on which city it is in, the lucky part, and this is not something we promise, but we like to surprise our franchisees with, is that
Okay.
when we open in, so for example, when we opened in Kochi, we had people like, Vijay Asudas, who was a partner in the business, and his father is highly influential as a celebrated singer. And then we had Madhavan, who came in, and these are people that Martin knows and is aware, and we made a phone call and they showed up. Um, so depending on the city, sometimes when we open, we are able via Martin's celebrity contacts to just call them and say we're opened over here. And as friends, they come up, and our client base is very vast. So our clients here in
I'll
Goa,
come to that question.
yeah,
I'll ask you about
yeah,
your
yeah, of
clientele
course.
and who are the
Yeah,
celebrities
for
that
sure,
come.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
So,
sure. So yeah,
yeah.
that's just pretty much our model.
Yeah. So business seekers, so we're talking about the financials. So total investment is 50 lakhs. In that 15, lakh is the franchisee fee for model they are following. And minimum square feet that is required is 1200 to 1500. Yeah. So if you're interested, please share your details. We'll love to answer all your questions. And yes, Kenneth, we want to understand about the ideal franchisee profile which you are seeking for in terms of education, background, time, and
Correct.
skills. So I have seen in the last previous slide we have mentioned that 20 hours they have to give. So let's talk more about that part.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. So, the I think one of the biggest motivators for us whenever we converse with any franchise interested parties is that we first of all are very excited that they love the brand enough that they want to take it to their own city.
Mhm.
But with that excitement comes responsibility.
True.
And because there's a lot of responsibility attached to it, we like to be very honest and manage expectations of that franchisee, and we like to be very genuine in our in our approach and what we really expect of a
Hmm.
franchisee.
Hmm.
And the first and most important thing that we tell them is that when you get into a luxury grooming business, such as the Chop Shop or any of these other salon brands that you talked about, is that the way the way we really deduce who's a good franchise operator is if their financials are in place. So we always talk about, if you're looking to invest in this business, don't look at the business as an investment of just 50 lakhs. For the
Mhm.
first year, have your OPEX kept aside for the whole year so that when you're operating this business, you don't run the business having to think, how am I going to survive the next month? Think
Hmm.
of the first year as your whole investment. When your state of mind is clear and when you have clarity and peace of mind, the business will run beautifully because we spend that much time to inculcate those values and make sure that the business runs as it would in Goa, as it would in Kochi.
Hmm.
And Kochi, I'll get to the numbers and I'll speak to you about that, but they are a proof of concept and they are testament to our model working as a franchisee. But we told them from day number one, have your OPEX as an investment ready for the whole year kept aside. Don't have the
Hmm.
tension of operating the business day to day thinking that if I don't make enough money as a business this month, how am I going to survive the next month?
Hmm.
If you do that, you're going to affect the services, you're going to affect the climate, the environment, and the emotional climate in the business. And then
Hmm.
customers are going to feel like you are compromising on the quality of the services because you're trying to
Yeah.
generate more revenue.
True.
So we always talk to our franchisees and we say, have that aside. And if you are financially apt and capable of doing that, then consider a business like this. That's one. Then the second aspect is that education wise, me and Martin are not necessarily the most highly educated individuals, but we are highly motivated. We're very aspirational. We're dreamers. So we do not go about discriminating
Mhm.
against who's educated or how you educated and did you come out of IIT or this or that. No, it doesn't matter to us. Whether you're just give me a second, sorry.
Hmm.
You're a high school dropout or whether you're a college dropout, no problem. It's absolutely fine with us. If you are motivated and you really, really enjoy the thought of a grooming business and you like people to look a certain way and you really care about appearances, then this is a business to get into. Because what's cooler than owning a barbershop where you can go there yourself and get a haircut, a massage, you shave, a trim, all of that. So so there's not a lot of prerequisites or requirements for you to be of a certain industry to really understand
Hmm.
this business. What you should be
Hmm.
is motivated and you should be receptive to the idea of learning. If you're open to
Okay.
learning, we'll teach you the business very quickly and it'll run on its own steam. That's why I mentioned in the previous slide, Bandana, that the franchise owner after the first 2 3 months does not need to spend more than 20 hours a week on the business, even lesser. 2 to 3 hours per day at max is more than enough for it to run smoothly. And if you have a really good manager, not even an hour a day is required to run this business because if you have a very, very, very astute, smart, and highly adaptable manager, your store is going to run beautifully because our barbers will do their job, no problem.
Mm.
So that's a little bit about, the way the business is run and the time expectations that we would like from a franchisee. And then the other most important aspect is we like to talk to the franchisee from time to time, and we like to hear them out as to what they think
Mm.
is important in their city. What have they recognized and noticed, and what they think should be changed.
Mm.
And what I
You take
mean
their
by
feedback
change,
on a regular basis.
correct. Feedback. Yeah, absolutely. Because we are an adaptable business. Tomorrow, if we open in a tier two city or a tier three city, we go into Nagpur or we go into Raipur or any of these places, and they're more price sensitive,
Mm.
and they do not want to spend as much as they would in Goa, we're
Mm.
open to reducing the prices by so as without compromising the quality and still sticking to the premiumness of the brand. We are open to reducing the prices of our services by 20-25% because we did that in Kochi because that was a very price sensitive market. So we are adaptable like that. We like to make sure that the franchisee can come to us and talk about things that they feel should be changed up if the business is not operating to its full capacity. So that's one aspect. Um, and then the last thing that I think we talk about is in terms of skills. Look for a franchisee who has organizational skills. And why we say this is because if you have strong organizational skills, then you know that when your Chop Shop franchise is operating and it's not operating at full capacity, you're able to very quickly realize from an organizational standpoint what the flaws are, what the problems are. That, okay, you know what? It's not clean as much. Or,
Mm.
the products are running out. I need to have someone to contact the Chop Shop head office and get our products to be
Mm.
replenished. So they need to have a very, very organizational perspective on everything that's happening in the store so that they can pick that, okay, maybe my manager doesn't look at everything and is not aware of everything. I need to see if at least the store is packed and the
Uh,
store has everything it needs product wise to operate smoothly. Because we can't call you every single day as a head company and be like, do you
yeah.
have enough shaving cream? Do you have enough this? No. So it's important for someone who is very
Organized.
micromanage, yeah, organized and a micromanager in a way to
Mm.
understand that when they come in as an owner and operator, they are able to pick very quickly on what is missing and tell their manager, and their manager does the rest. So
Yeah.
that is one very important thing because
Mm.
you can't do a shave without shaving cream. You can't do a haircut without scissors. If your scissors are blunt, there's a problem. Now, barbers will always do the best that they can to keep informing the manager this is running out, that is running out, which they're trained to do. But
Mm.
when the shop's busy every single day and they're tired, they will forget things. So it's
Mm.
the job of the franchise operator and the manager to see if things are running out. So that's the only really one aspect of the business that we really stress on. And we say your services are only good as the products that you have available to facilitate that service.
Correct. Yeah.
Otherwise, you just can't do the service. And you don't want to be a barbershop who says, I can't do a shave today. They're going to be like, what? It's like going into a McDonald's and saying, there's no food to eat over here,
Yeah.
you know? So,
Yes.
so yeah.
I think all our business seekers who are watching us, they got the idea that what is the profile that Chop Shop is seeking for. So, like, you have to be passionate, motivate for doing the work. And next is a skill set that is like you have to be organized so that you can understand what are the things are not there in your, shop. And if any client is coming to you, you can serve them in a better way if you have the all required equipments and the products. So that is very important. Otherwise, time, if we talk about, it is very less hour that you have to provide. And yes, Martin, Kenneth, we have got the idea about the profiles. Let's
Awesome.
talk about. So we have taken few pictures, and we have
Hmm.
presented over here. Like we can see how the barber, slide.
Yeah, for sure. So what you're looking at is the interiors of the Goa store. And we're lucky enough to have a lot of natural sunlight that shines right through.
Your
So it
voice is
gives a very
little
different.
low, actually, Kenneth. You have to
Yeah,
be
one
louder,
second.
or else you can switch
Yeah,
off your
no.
camera so that we can get the voice clear.
Yeah, sure. Let me try that and see if I can do that. Tell me if that works. Sorry, one second.
Nah,
Is that
it's
better?
fine.
Yeah? Yeah, it's
You
better?
can go
Okay,
on.
great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So what you're looking at is the interiors of the Chop Shop store in Goa. And we're lucky to have a lot of natural sunlight that comes in there. It's located in the Bargator area. As you can see, the barber chairs that I was talking to you about, that's exactly those that you're seeing in the picture. Those are custom made and they take 2 months to make.
Okay.
Yeah, so those chairs are specifically created for our services. They recline completely to a 180 angle, and they are able to facilitate for any and every kind of service that we need to really perform in store while making sure that the customer is most comfortable. So those are those chairs. As you can see, our attire for our barbers is very specific to our aesthetic and our design. So you can see exposed brick walls, you can see a lot of burnt wood, you can see a custom made bike by a very famous bike artist here in India, and then you attire that they wear as their aprons when they're working, which has all the provisions for their tools for barbering. So there's a very raw aesthetic to it that really doesn't make you feel like you're in a barber shop. You almost feel like you're being transported into a very, very different time and era in the 1920s and the 1930s.
I
You know,
must say.
yeah. So it's a more rustic appeal. Um, and yeah, that's a little bit about the interiors, as you can see.
Oh, lovely. So I think all the things which we're talking about the motorcycle concept, shares, and
Yeah,
outlook, we can see everything. Look and feel from this slide. Yeah. I'm
yeah,
missing your video,
yeah.
Kenneth. Just I think now your voice is fine. If you want to switch
Okay,
on your video,
sure.
you can.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
worries.
Let's move to the next slide and talk about your success stories and how you're supporting in terms of marketing. We are talking about the marketing support that you're providing to your franchisees. Let's
Right.
talk about step by step how you're doing it.
Yeah, sure. So this is essentially a breakdown of everything that we provide within our franchise model, the FOFO. So the exterior and interior design, the complete build out, the chairs, transport, this, that, the assistance in hiring the barbers. So we get all the barbers for you. We train them. We do all of that. The only thing that we ask you is to be involved with if you think the barber's appearance is to your liking. If the barber looks a certain way, that might be cultural friction in that place. Maybe if they're too tattooed up or if they have piercings or something, and you think the market is a little sensitive to that, then we go ahead and find and recruit another barber. Um, and then we go about training and certifying these barbers under GBBA's level 3. But currently, until flights open up, we're not able to guarantee that right now because my tailor cannot fly into India. But that is something that we intend to do once the COVID's behind us, which it is in the process of being. And then as time elapses, we'll start to resume that as a prerequisite for our franchisees. And then we have the staff training. We have the managerial training. We have the in-service products that we provide for 45 days, usually between 45 days to 2 months. So for the first 2 months, you technically, as a franchisee, do not need to worry about any products. We provide it as part of the fee. So
Okay.
your store is already stocked up to perform 2 months worth of services operationally smooth and streamlined. After 2 months, as you get more accustomed to the business, you'll start to understand better, and then you can just replenish it based on what you need by speaking to your
Okay.
manager, and they'll give you the contacts that you can order from, and then they'll just send it out and dispatch it to you every week.
Right.
And then merchandise, we are working on a merchandise line, so t-shirts, hats, sunglasses, keychains, stuff like that. So we do provide X amount of merchandise to stock up your retail section, so that when people are buying, are purchasing, or rather coming in for our services, they can always buy a memento, or something from our retail section that they think they like and that they would use. So we provide a couple of pieces of that as well. So it's stocked up and it looks like you have something to display. Um,
Perfect.
the music is curated by us. We're very, very, I wouldn't want to say strict because that's a harsh word, but we're very, very, what would be the right word? We're very particular about the music, and we provide a certain type of music that we expect of our franchisees to abide by and to follow. We are strictly against playing Bollywood or just any Hindi kind of music or any other music that pertains to other languages. The reason why is because the brand was never built on that premise. We do not try to be very geo-specific. The way we work is it follows the aesthetic and design. So it's very
Oh,
1960s, 1970s, 1980s rockers. And it's inspired
wow.
by a lot. Yeah, it's inspired by all of the rock and roll pop artists that we were inspired by, and their influence on current pop culture and current trends and looks. So we really curate the music to be very classy and refined and very old school, and that's the music that works the best with our brand aesthetic and our interiors. So that's something that we provide, and then after that, you just got to press play every day. You don't need to do anything else. And it's a non-stop list. It'll continue to play as and when it's needed. Um,
Okay.
and then we provide the preliminary PR and marketing for the first 45 days to 2 months. It depends on which market. Some markets don't require that much. Some markets do, but we provide that as part of the fee. So we do ATL, BTL activities, offline, online PR, some social ads, so social media based ads, stuff like that. And then it is the responsibility of the franchisee to pay a certain fee monthly for social media, which then goes towards our kitty fee. So it's like it's one aggregated fee that goes towards our main social media team, and
Okay.
that team handles that particular account. So we what we operate as, and if you see Enrich and all of these other brands, is that there's just one major Instagram page, and everything from there is promoted from that itself. We did not want to go with the model of every single Chop Shop franchise store has their own Instagram page and Facebook page. So we believe will get very messy, and a lot of it will be repeated, and the brand design, aesthetic, and streamlining will be very wavy and disrupted. So we just take a fee from it's think of it as a marketing expense month on month. We take it from the franchisee, and then it's a part of our total marketing fee. And we just promote as and when we need to promote that store. We do geo-specific stories. We help promote certain offers only pertaining to that market and stuff like that. So that's how the social media oversight works.
Wow.
And yeah. That's
Yeah, so
very
we
interesting.
have received few, feedbacks. So, Fanny has joined us, and she is saying that it's a lovely concept. So, thank you, and please stay connected with us till the end and get to know more about Chop Shop. And I'm sure you'll get to know about the success stories, the celebrity, clientele they have. Sabhyata has also joined. This is interesting approach. Yes. So, please, I'll say thank you for joining and sharing your feedback with us. Stay connected. Yeah. So we have
Awesome.
selected few questions, Kenneth, that I want to ask on behalf of my business seekers. And so the first question is: will the franchisor help entrepreneurs and find a good location? Because location is very important. We have to see the
Correct.
commercialized area, footprints, and it should not be in a very
Hmm.
interior place. And we are going there for haircut and all. So are you helping
Right.
them in selecting the location?
Yeah, so I'll answer that in two parts. Uh, we like to trust in the franchisee to really pick the location. We give guidelines in terms of wanting a ground floor place with a glass facade, more open, more natural sunlight coming in during the day. So we do provide guidelines, and we do provide in some ways certain areas that we like based on our knowledge of those cities. Some cities we're not very accustomed to, rather many cities we're not accustomed to, but the major cities we are able to pick and communicate pockets of locations that we think could be a good area to open a chop shop. But we do not go about assisting on ground with having to find a particular location that we think would be perfect for the franchisee. However, when a franchisee does find a location, we provide support in terms of feedback. We tell them if it works in terms of facilitating the kind of services that we want to do, or if it's not feasible. We do so we give that feedback, and then the other feedback that we provide is we're lucky enough to have friends all across India, many of them operating different kinds of businesses in other parts of India. So we do send that location that the franchisee picked, or a list of locations, to our friends across India, whichever city it's in, and we ask for their feedback based on their experience of living there. And we provide that detailed feedback to our franchisee. So that's how we approach the location scouting aspect of our
Okay,
business.
okay, okay, got it. Uh-huh. We have another question that I want to know, Kenneth. Like, as you know, this is a very tough time that everybody has seen, and this was a very uncertain situation has gone through. So, how you are supporting your, franchising at that time? Was it a tough time for your industry also, or for Chop Shop also? Please help us understand this, part.
Absolutely. It has been a very challenging time, and for most of us, and for some businesses more so than others. While the retail and merchandise and clothing business took a massive hit, and the restaurant business and hospitality business, you had the food delivery business that did very well and was thriving. And we are lucky enough and very grateful, knock on wood, God bless, that we were on the other side of the grass, where we were able to sustain during COVID, because when the government allowed salons and barbershops to reopen, we did not even have to put out a post that we were open. We got calls where basically our barbershop in Goa was booked for 2 months straight. We did not have room to take any walk-ins because we were taking appointments on the phone, because we had guidelines as per the government to follow,
Yeah.
that we couldn't have more than three customers in the store, a space between each chair, barber chair. So we had to take pre-bookings. We were booked for 2 months. We had no space for 2 months, and that's what happened. And everyone who showed up and came in with the face of "please help me." And because they didn't have haircuts for 8 months, 9 months, a year, some of them. And they looked at us and they said, we were cutting our hair at home. And they had a very newfound appreciation and respect for not only us as a brand, but mainly for the concept of a barber and the role that they play in your life. And even someone as successful as Anand Mahindra, who, by the way, is a Chop Shop customer as well. Anand
Oh,
Mahindra also said, he said, I officially, and he put it up on his Twitter, and it was really funny for us to read. He said, in a very, very nice, quirky way, he said, I officially nominate my barber as the top 5 most important people in my life now. Not only my driver, but my barber as well. Because 9 months he didn't get a haircut and he realized the value of his barber and what they do for you and how they keep you looking good and fresh and feeling amazing and feeling like you are a powerful human being and that you're
correct.
capable. And for that reason, we were packed. And the same thing with Kochi. Kochi was even more harder because Kerala had very strict COVID
Hmm,
guidelines.
hmm,
And we, as a parent company, the only way we can support them is really just vocalizing our support. We couldn't do anything to keep them open because at the end of the day, that is the government guidelines. We cannot interfere with the government to get to open barbershops sooner.
correct.
So we just had to provide vocal support in terms of we're there for you when it opens. We helped them with the barbers by sending the barbers back home so that they didn't have the expense of having to house the barbers or to have to pay the full barber salaries. We helped reduce the barber salaries to really just 50 lesser than 50% of their monthly salary because they still needed a living.
Hmm,
They
hmm,
still
hmm,
needed some sort of income. So we helped from that aspect. Our support came really from helping reduce their OPEX during the time that they were closed.
hmm.
So that was the support we provided. Once they opened up, there was really no support needed because they were packed again, and they started getting a lot of inquiries and more people coming in, and instead more people spending more time. So our average service time, or rather average customer time spent in the store used to be about anywhere between 40 to 47 minutes. Our average time now of a customer spent in the Kochi store is 1 hour, 12 minutes. That's the average time they spend in a
Oh,
barbershop.
well,
I don't know if anyone can go about really claiming that, but we have that, right? That's an average that we have. And it's crazy to think someone spent an hour, hour and a half in a barbershop, but that's because they love being there. Um, so in terms of the COVID pandemic, I can rightfully say that our business is in a way COVID proof because when it opened, we did not have the struggle that other businesses had when they reopened. We instead had people coming to us saying, "Save me, please make me look approachable again. Please make me look like as if I'm a human being because right now I look messy." And
yeah.
we were basically offering therapy. It's like therapy. We were offering therapy like a doctor, but our therapy was to make you feel and look better.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was our blessing, and that's how we handled the COVID crisis.
Yeah. So during pandemic, we have realized the importance of each and every person who are around us, and
Absolutely.
as you said, barbers are also playing very important role in our life. And during pandemic, if you have seen that everybody has started thinking about the hygiene and maintaining themselves. So I think that time it is very important.
Yeah,
Even every time I'll say it is very important for us to keep us,
absolutely.
fresh and look
Yeah,
good.
for sure. And it's a good point that you brought up, Bandana, about hygiene, right? That's what we stand for, right? Our protocols changed based on the hygiene requirements that were at that point put out to the whole industry. And because of that, a lot of people wanted to cut their hair and get rid of their beards for a hygiene aspect of living, right? They needed many of them who had really big beards had to get rid of it because a mask wouldn't sit on properly. So we provided that to help them also abide by the law, but also feel safe till this pandemic was behind us.
True that, true that. So other question that we have, Kenneth, for you, what training and support will franchisee receive? I think you have already answered this
Yeah,
question and in a
correct.
detailed way in the previous slide, so we can skip this and let's move to the next slide. And
Hmm.
I'm sure it was great speaking to you and understanding about about the concept that you have. So we have received a few good feedbacks from Penny. I would like to display that over here.
Sure.
I really love the whole concept of chop shop. This is for you,
Hmm.
Kenneth.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you for this
So yeah,
feedback. You
awesome.
want to say
Thank you.
something?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
please go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely appreciate it. I'm happy that there is, an appreciation for, for a concept like this that didn't really exist in India prior. And yeah, and thank you for that. Feel
And
very happy.
Sakyata Gupta has also said, interesting approach towards branding. Yeah, of course, this is really interesting approach.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, it is in a way a choice that we took that we felt like um, there is a marriage between the two cultures of East and West, and there always has been in the past. So for us, we were like, why not marry those cultures in a barbershop and really provide something unique and eclectic in a way, but still very approachable so that no one feels left out and that even to some customers who come in and might not necessarily be able to afford our services will aspire to be in the chop shop and earn more money so that they can get a service over there. And you
Wow.
want to be an aspirational brand in India because when you're an aspirational brand, you tend to be a brand that people will always recall and aspire to be a part of. And that's why we wanted to position ourselves as that. So thank you for recognizing that.
Yeah. So let's move to the next slide, and I'll say, Kenneth, thank you for giving your precious time to the webinar. And I just want to talk more about this, but we have a limited time slot
Of
that
course. Yeah.
we have to. But I am sure all our business seekers have got the idea why they should go for chop shop. They have a great team. They are giving the proper training. They know the techniques, how to deliver it. They are serving their clients like like their
Correct.
best. They're
Yeah.
trying their best to provide
Absolutely.
them the service.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I'll end on this note that a lot of the customers who have shifted to Goa. So there are a lot of customers or friends of ours today who we're lucky enough to know who have shifted to Goa primarily for the last couple of months during the lockdown because Goa was easy to live in, who
Hmm.
are a regular clientele of ours, like John Abraham, Manoj Bajpai. We have um, uh, Zara and Ashish Nara and Virat Kohli, who live here and lived here for quite a while, who have been friends of Martin for a very long time. And once they moved here, the only place that they really came without ever second guessing was the chop shop because they wouldn't go to restaurants because either they didn't want to be seen or they did not want to be around so many people. But when they needed a haircut, they came to us.
Oh,
We didn't need to have to convince them to come out, because there was no fear because we knew what we were doing and they knew that they needed to look good because that's their job, right, to present themselves in a certain way. So we were lucky to meet that sweet spot in between. And I think that falls true for everyone, that you are always prioritizing your vanity and how you look in your appearance.
yeah.
And that's what we as a business aspire to do for our customers. So,
I'm sure. I'm sure they're coming again and again because they had, Virat Kohli and you said a few, celebrities' name, and they have got the experience. That's why they were coming again and again. Believe
yeah,
me,
absolutely.
Kenneth. And
Yeah.
I really like the way you are serving your clients.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Anna, for the time. It was great having you tonight.
Yes. So I would like to, tell our contact details to all our business seekers. So if you are interested in the opportunity, please reach out to us. We have already shared the number. It is 9844443200. Even you can mail us also business@franchisebazaar.com. Please visit our website, that is www.franchisebazaar. You'll get all the details, about the brand Chop Shop. And even if you want to know more about the financials, about the training and the support, please reach out to us. These are the contact details we have shared on the screen, and we'll answer all your questions which is there in your mind. Yeah. So
Yeah,
let's go to the next slide. You can follow us on all our channels, as I said, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook, so that you'll get the latest update about the upcoming webinars that we are organizing. So this was our best franchisee opportunity, 72 franchisee opportunity. And I'll say the great concept that they have, remaining 28 best franchisee opportunities of 2021 are lined up. Stay connected with us. And we have Kenneth. I again say thank you for your precious time and sharing all the details so nicely and patiently with
absolutely.
all our
Yeah,
business seekers, Kenneth.
absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your time as well. And I absolutely enjoyed being over here. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Kenneth.
Awesome.
Thank you, business
All
seekers,
right.
for joining us.
Take care. Have a great day. Cheers.
Yeah. Bye.